Qatar Airways has announced a 25% equity investment and partnership with South African airline Airlink. The announcement at a signing ceremony in Doha is expected to boost the offerings of both airlines on the continent and the country's economies. Airlink currently flies to more than 45 destinations in 15 African countries and is working on a growth strategy. SABC News economics reporter Katlego Legodi was at the signing ceremony and filed this report from Doha.
South African airline Airlink welcoming an equity partner in Qatar Airways as that announcement comes through of a 25% equity stake that Qatar Airways has now bought into or invested into the airline. And we see that announcement happening here in Doha, meant to ensure that it boosts both economies of the nations, but also come through with issues of job creation as the two countries work to solidify their work within the aviation space. I'm going to bring into the conversation with us now the Airlink CEO, Mr. Rodger Foster, who'll just break down what this equity means, 25% stake, and just give us a sense of how this is going to come through for Airlink, also then for Qatar Airways, as we see this signing happening here in Doha. Welcome to the SABC, sir.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you for having me. So here in Doha, we are delighted as Airlink to welcome on board to a 25% equity stake in our business of Qatar Airways. Qatar Airways is a well-revered global airline. It's an award-winning global airline. It's a solid airline, and it's got a wonderful global reach through Doha to the rest of the world. We've had a relationship with Qatar Airways for many years, and this relationship now gets strengthened by virtue to Qatar Airways taking an equity stake of 25% in Airlink. What that means is that Airlink will be bolstered as an organization. Qatar Airways will get the benefits that it has already been achieving over the last few years, but enhanced in terms of the access that Airlink provides to the sub-region of Southern Africa and East Africa. Airlink currently operates more than 50 routes in the sub-region, offering more than 85,000 flights with a fleet of over 60 aeroplanes. And what this will do is reinforce Airlink to be the robust airline offering a rich, dense network of air access throughout the sub-region, and carry on building on that strategically by adding more routes to the network that we currently operate, and also organically by increasing the frequencies and the capacity on the various routes that we already offer within our network of routes. This provides greater connectivity, not just for Qatar Airways, but also given the fact that Airlink is alliance agnostic, in other words, that we have multiple relationships, 35 other airline partnerships with the likes of Lufthansa and others, Emirates and so on. We have multiple airline relationships, and we'll be able to carry on nurturing those relationships whilst at the same time building on the relationship that we have, the excellent relationship that we have with Qatar Airways.
An exciting time. What can we benefit, let's say the layman on the ground, listening to us right now and thinking, really, how does this come through for me sitting there at home and thinking that indeed there's a 25% equity that is now, a fair share of Qatar Airways? Give us a sense of how this then helps the economies and just help those people on the ground in South Africa that are watching us right now.
Well, I think firstly one must recognize that an investment by an organization like Qatar Airways into a business like Airlink, a South African domiciled business with South African ownership prior to the 25% taken up by Qatar, is an endorsement into investing in not only South Africa but also in the sub-region. And the fact that Airlink has been chosen as the investment vehicle, I think, is a wonderful indictment, or endorsement in fact, on Airlink. It's phenomenal from our perspective. If we think about the growth trajectory of the business over the last 4 or so years since pre-COVID, I think that Airlink has come a long way on its journey, to the point where, as a business, a solid business, a robust business that has got very good corporate governance and a strong balance sheet, a good financial integrity, a good value system, and offers a wonderful service to our travelling public, high value proposition to our travelling public, I think that this investment by Qatar Airways in Airlink is a wonderful endorsement, not only to the country but also to our business.
Just before we let you go, and just quickly say, where are we with the regulatory approvals where this acquisition is concerned?
Okay, well, I think firstly, Qatar Airways will not be taking a controlling interest, not even a deemed controlling interest in the business. They will be a 25% shareholder, and they'll have 2 seats on a board of directors comprising 14 directors. So they'll have voting rights up to 25%, and I think that is firstly fully compliant with the 2 Civil Aviation Licensing Acts, the Act 60 of 1993, which is the International Air Services Act, and the Domestic Act, which is 115 of 1990. So it'll be fully compliant with the limited foreign ownership being 25%, and given the fact that they will not be taking a controlling stake, not even a deemed controlling stake, in terms of competition's regulatory approvals, there's no need to be filing with the Competitions Commission, given that they will not be taking a controlling stake.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. The Airlink CEO there, Mr. Rodger Foster, just giving us a breakdown of what this means. But you hear them saying it's an exciting time for both nations as they look at capitalizing and solidifying their relations through this 25% acquisition of Qatar Airways into Airlink. I'm Katlego for SABC News in Doha, Qatar.